Aloha everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Astrology Dome. My name is Galit and today I want to talk to you about your shadow side. Everybody has a shadow. And what is a shadow? A shadow is that place where we are wounded and we are reactive. We are reacting from that wound, and usually it's not a positive reaction for us and for the people around us. Why is this happening? Because when we come to life, we have built into our chart our greatest gifts and our greatest challenges. And through life, we are reacting and acting and being in relationship with people. And we get wounded because some people, and especially in the first 7 years of our life when we are not conscious and we are very, very impressionable by the people around us, then we can get hurt. And people around us, they don't mean to hurt us, but they don't know better because nobody is us. Nobody is you. Nobody can feel what you need. So even if people are doing their best, your parents, they probably have done their best to raise you up and give you whatever they thought you need, but maybe it wasn't what you needed and you are wounded. So in today's video, I'm going to show you 7 different ways to find your shadow in your chart. And once you find that shadow, that hiding part of yourself, that part that is still in the basement, that part that is still a child, that part that is neglected, somewhere hidden, what we need to do is, first of all, awareness. First of all, understand what it is that is hidden there, why this is hidden there, because you didn't want to see it. And maybe call that part into your present life, and that's what's going to heal that part, because this is a part that we usually don't want to see. We stash it somewhere that we don't want to see, but that part is always nudging us. It is always calling to our attention. It is always reactive. And when we are reactive from our shadow part, it is not beneficial to us or anyone else. It is not going to be positive usually, unless it is just an awareness point. So if things have come to light for you and you're seeing some stuff about yourself that you don't like to see, maybe you see some wounds coming up, maybe you see some primal desires that you don't even want to acknowledge. You're saying, no, 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 this is not me. Yes, those are darker part of yourself that hasn't come to life yet. And your job right now is to bring them into light, see them, be aware of them, and that's the way to hug them and heal them and maybe help them grow into the present moment, into this timeline, into this version of yourself, so you can become better and wholer. If we keep stuff in our basement, in our psych somewhere, and we repress it, it's bound to come up. We better deal with it right here, right now. So let's look at the 7 ways to figure out what our wounds, what our shadow parts are. The first item on the list is your 7th house. Now, I know you're thinking, well, 7th house is my relationship. It's all those wonderful people that I'm going to get married to, or I'm going to have business relationship with. Yes, it's true. They are represented by your 7th house. But the 7th house is always the other person, right? You are your 1st house. You are your ascendant. 1st house is all about your identity. 7th house is about somebody else's identity. So we usually attract, especially if we have planets in the 7th house, look at that planet. This is the kind of person, the planet and the sign that you have on your 7th house will show you the kind of person you're attracting to your life. And why are you attracting that person? It's an exact opposite of who you really are, because your ascendant is in the opposite sign. So whatever your ascendant sign is, this is how you bring yourself into the world. But what's the opposite sign is bringing you the opposition of yourself. And usually we don't like opposition. It's exactly the opposite side of ourselves. So we're looking at that opposition saying, well, do I really like that opposition? Do I really like that person? Maybe that person, if you have Mars in your 7th house, maybe that person is helping you discover that you have some anger issues with some people, right? And it may help you become more courageous and own your anger and turn it from anger into power. So in the beginning, when you're less aware of yourself, maybe you are going to attract some people that will be pushing some buttons for you, so you can realize, aha, I am getting angry because of that person. No, it's not because of that person. It's because of what you have in your seventh house. So always pay attention to the sign on your seventh house and the planets. Those are great clues on how you perceive other people and what kind of buttons they can press for you and what kind of awareness they can bring to your life. That's really important. Second point is your eighth house. Eighth house is where you dance with your demons. Eighth house is all about your inner demons. Now, I'm an eighth house person. I used to have a lot of demons, still have, I guess. If you're an eighth house person, you need to really go deep this life and find out what it is that you're doing here on the soul level. You need to dance with life and death issues, really crisis mode. You have to go to the depth of your soul. So whatever sign you have on your eighth house, it will show you how the style that you are going to deal with those kind of demons. And the demons hide really deep in the eighth house. You have to have crises sometimes and really extreme situation and extreme intensity in order to deal with less aware parts of yourself, more primitive parts of yourself, more raw parts of yourself. And only when this raw part of yourself is coming up, you realize, hey, this is actually me. I have to deal with that darker part, this hidden part that I don't really like to see, but I have to embrace it and heal it. That's why the eighth house always represents from powerlessness into powerful, because when you are powerless, that means you're not in control of your life and you are reactive. But when you are powerful, you are already dealing with those demons and you're hugging them and you can dance with them because you understand that you're a whole. You're not just the good parts, you're also the darker part, the parts that you repressed a long time ago. So you're more of a whole. So the sign, and if you have any planets in the eighth house, those are important clues on what kind of energies and desires, raw desires, that you need to deal with. Third part of finding the shadow is always the 12th house. If you are a 12th house person, you are in the basement. If your sun is in the 12th house, there are parts of you don't want to face. Venus in the 12th house, how you relate to people. What are you hiding? If you have other stelliums in the 12th house, or even the sign on the 12th house, even its ruler, can give you clues on what you're hiding in the basement. You know, the 12th house is kind of an elusive house. We always say secret enemies, spirituality, connection to all there is, to God. Yes, it's all true, but it's also our basement. It's where we stash all those things that we don't want to see. The 12th house is kind of here. We can't see it. It's our blind spot. So what did you stash in your 12th house? Those planets are important. Look at their energies. Those are the energies you're not really connected to in a full sense of the word. You are, part of them are obviously working for you, but part of them you have decided not to deal with, and you do need to deal with them. So call them out. Tell them, hey guys, come out of the basement. Let's go to the living room. Invite them to your kitchen. Give them dinner or invite them for coffee and have a conversation. Invite them for a conversation, because those planets' energies are holding key components of your integral self, of your authentic self. And without those vital parts, you're actually not a full identity. So have a conversation with your 12th house. This is a good start to become aware of what you stuck there, what is hidden in your basement. The fourth component for our shadow part is always our south node. Now, the south node is, if you believe in reincarnation, is past lives. It represents past life, or in this life it represents the past, and the north node is the future. So we are moving from the axis of the past into the future, from what we wear, the old self, to the new self. So these are your old clothes. Now, have you tried as an adult wearing your clothes from fifth grade? You can't fit into that, isn't it? It's you've outgrown those clothes. However, you love those old clothes that you had in fifth grade. It reminds you an innocent time and, oh, where is that shirt I used to love, right? We all have those. This is your old self trying kind of to cling to the old way you used to do things. It doesn't fit you anymore. So how can you move out of it? You always look at the north node direction. Always the house and the sign of the north node is showing you where you need to go. However, the south node is something that is so familiar to you that you kind of leaning back to the south node all the time saying, well, I know how to do that, let's try it again. No, it doesn't work. So the south node is kind of a pulling point to what needs to be done this lifetime, and you need to move from that south node point into the north node point into your future. And the north node is not comfortable. You haven't done that yet. So you are kind of learning how to become your north node. And it's a learning experience. So once in a while, we do the seesaw motion. We move toward the south node, things that we know really well to do. And then we move back to the north node, learning new experiences. Another point for shadow hiding in your chart. Neptune. Where is Neptune in your chart? What house and what sign is Neptune in your chart? This is where you put the escape door. This is the hidden exit that you left for yourself. When you coded this life, this was the hidden door that you left. This is where you want to escape, and you are giving yourself that beautiful story of connecting to God and spirituality. And it's all true. This is also where you connect to your highest spirituality and highest self. But you can also connect to deception. You can also connect to fantasy world. You can also connect to delusion, self-delusion. So check yourself, check that Neptune and see where Neptune is in your chart, and see if you can find some clues from that position, especially if Neptune or any one of those have a hard aspect to your sun, to your moon, and definitely to Pluto. And we'll talk about Pluto in a second. But every hard aspect you have to your sun or moon from any of those points will be significant, because it will, on the one hand, give you inspiration and ability to heal. On the other hand, it will connect you to your deepest wound, your deepest shadow. So those are clues. Pluto. Pluto. Pluto is the seat of our soul. This is why we came to this life. Pluto is why we incarnated into this life. So your Pluto position is really, really important. However, the Pluto position by house and sign are showing what the soul has done until now. It's an accumulation of all the lifetimes, all the experiences your soul have experienced, and it came with that. You know that. But your Pluto position will provide you with intense, very intense experiences. Pluto is where you have life and death battle in that house and sign. This is extreme. It's not an easy position for you. However, you are good in that position because you're used to it. As I said, it's an accumulation. The polarity point, which is across from Pluto, 180 degrees across in that polarity point, in that opposition, lies your future. So if your shadow needs to be healed where Pluto is, you are moving from that place into the house position and the sign position that is your polarity. We have to master our Pluto this lifetime. Every lifetime we master our Pluto. There is no escape from that. So I highly suggest to study your Pluto really, really well, its symbolism, house and sign positions, because it holds a key to your deepest shadow, to your deepest fears. If you master Pluto, you mastered your fears. And last but not least is Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer, and it is your wound superhero and superpower, because Chiron always shows us what we felt that we didn't get in childhood or we didn't deserve to get, what we believe that nobody gave to us and we really needed it. So there lies a childhood wound within Chiron. However, Chiron is not like Pluto, is not in a crisis mode. It is a constant feeling of lack that we carry within ourselves and we can't really identify it. It's kind of accompanying us since we were born until whenever we heal it. So studying your Chiron by house position and by sign is always a revelation and awareness of where lies that wound. And once you get that, once you understand that wound, it can transform and be a superpower for you because you've been working on that wound for a long, long time. So maybe you already mastered it. So I hope you like my short rundown for your shadow part. Shadow is really important. And I know you probably have heard the shadow word being mentioned lately in the last 2 years, 2.5 years. We are releasing our trauma right now. South Node is in Scorpio for us as a collective. We are working on our trauma and we want to heal our trauma. We want to be well. We want to be integrated. We want to be authentic and express our authentic, beautiful self and have a great life. But we can't do it if we carry our wounded self without treating that inner child. So how can you heal and take yourself to the next level? Upgrade your life. Heal that wound. Heal your shadow side. Dance with your shadows and become a whole. I hope you liked it. If yes, like my video, please. And if you didn't subscribe to my channel, please do. I really appreciate you watching and being here. That's the way I grow my channel. And as usual, enjoy today and become the best version of yourself today and every day. I will see you next time.